guys, it's Ziya. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Juvia's Place foundation along with the concealer and the setting powders. So I have to be honest, I already started filming this video once, but I put on so much of the concealer, which is too light for me, that I have to start all over because this stuff spreads so much. You do not need a lot. Do not put too much of this on. It will destroy everything. But that being said, it seems to have worked well for the time it was on. So you also don't need too much of the foundation, because I put on too much of the foundation because once again I underestimated it, and it is really good coverage wise, and coverage works really well with a brush. It actually worked better with the brush than my makeup sponge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of it and I'm going to dot it all over my face. I'm not going to like go overboard. It's better to work in thin layers rather than thick layers. And what I usually do when I put on foundation with the brush is I will go over it with a makeup sponge just to get rid of any brush strokes that might be left behind. So as you can see, this brush is dirty now. I will insert a clip of how it looked before I destroyed it. I have smaller dark spots here and a huge dark spot here that I just put foundation over, but it does exist. It is there. I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit more. You can see it covers really well. Like, that is a lot of coverage. I was a lot more excited about this the first time that I put it on because it was my first reaction. So it kind of sucks that I'm not giving you guys that, but it just didn't work out well because I put on way too much concealer. So the foundation costs $20. As you can see, super high coverage. It is also matte, which I do like. I like that less nowadays. I do like to have skin that looks a little bit more glowy. And that is because I feel like it gives a more youthful appearance, whereas if it's just matte on matte on matte, I feel like it's a little aging. It has applied beautifully with this brush. I'm going to take very good care of this brush. You are getting washed today. I also used a lot less foundation than I did the first time, and it looks a lot better than it did the first time too. I have a shot from earlier that I have this side covered in foundation and this side not, this side naked. So I'm going to show you guys that now. So here's the makeup side and here's the no makeup. Oh! I mean, this is good. This is good. Oh, what? What? So I'm just gonna go in with my makeup sponge and kind of tap out any brush strokes, which there really aren't any. I feel like now I'm just doing this out of habit because this brush works so well that I don't even see any brush strokes. But it is nice to blend it down the neck with the sponge. Super matte. It has basically dried down already. My nose is itchy. I feel like there's a hair on it. Is there a hair? Am I imagining things? No, there was a hair. I'm not crazy. Well, I still might be. Anyway, moving on to the concealer. Now that we have the foundation on, it looks so much better than last time. Last time it looked crazy. This concealer is a little too light for my skin. But this costs, like I said, foundation costs $20. Concealer costs $14. And the setting powder, which I also have, that's already open, but I'm going to show you guys the box. I got it in White Sands. This stuff is $12. So 20 plus 14, that's 34, plus 12, that's 46. $46 for your whole base. Still sounds pretty expensive, but this does work well. I am slightly disappointed with the size of this, but that's just because the packaging looks so small. Maybe if I were to compare it to other foundations, it would be Oh yeah, 1 fluid ounce. That's pretty standard. Okay, no, never mind. I take that back. One fluid ounce is standard for foundations. So this I got in the shade 23, and I accidentally got the wrong shade because they did not put out the chart to explain what colors to get for your skin tone until after I bought this. So I was quite disappointed. This is a lot less than I applied last time. Last time it was really bad, so hopefully I don't apply too much here. It does spread really, really well. Okay, looks like this shade is going to work in small doses as long as I don't apply too much all at once. And I always put concealer on my nose, on my whole nose, because I feel like it helps my foundation and everything just stick to my nose better, especially because my nose gets really, really oily and gross, and I despise that, but it's okay. It's my face and I have to deal with it. I'm going to apply a tiny, a little bit more right here and right here. I have been a lot more careful with the concealer this time around, because last time I did what I usually do with my Tarte concealer, is I do that upside down triangle, and that was way too much. I was blending it out and it literally went all over my face. It was a lot. So the concealer and the foundation is best to use in small doses because it has a lot of coverage, and a little bit just goes a whole long way. You guys see I did that little dot on each side again, and it's covering everything. Now we're going to get into the setting powder. I got this in White Sands. I'm dropping everything. I got this in White Sands. I don't remember if I said that already. So what I'm going to do, which is a little bit different for me, is I'm just going to take this on a brush first on one side. Just blend this out again. Make sure it's all nice and smooth. And have it on a brush. I'm just going to tap it underneath my eye. I was watching Patricia Bright, and Patricia Bright does a lot of fashion. She also does talk about makeup and skincare. She is a skincare junkie, basically, like myself, but a little bit more educated on it. I'm just like, oh, this is nice, let me put it on my face. Patricia Bright is a lot more knowledgeable. And she said that baking under your under eyes can actually cause more lines. I was like, I don't want more lines. I'm working on getting the lines to go away. So I'm gonna try not baking very much, but I think I tapped that too hard. But I am going to bake under this eye just to show you guys how it would look. This is just setting it. And actually just setting it looks pretty good. But I'm gonna bake under one eye. Let's show you guys how that works out. And I'm still going to bake my nose because it needs it. And now I'm just going to start taking the setting powder and just setting my whole face with it. This isn't the brush I usually use to set my face. Hold on. Like I said, now I'm just going to go over my whole face and set everything, just using the same technique as I usually would, just patting it all over the face. And then after I have it pat all over, I am going to, what's the word? Blend. The coverage is so good. I can't get over how good the coverage is. But don't go overboard with the amount of product you use. You don't need a lot. I originally put on a whole lot. I keep on saying this over and over again because it was just horrible how I ended up making it look. And I was like, wow, this foundation is terrible. I went to wipe it off and I needed like 6 cotton rounds. Oh, and I primed my face using aloe vera gel this time, if anybody wants to know that. Also, this oxidized a lot more when I was wearing a lot more of the foundation. I don't know why that is, but that's what happened. I believe they have the setting powder in 5 shades. I got the lightest shade. I probably could have gone with the darker shade, but I stuck with this one. So I am going to put on the rest of my face and I will be back to see you guys in a minute. Alright, you guys, first check-in. I have been filming stuff. I totally forgot to come back like right after I finished my makeup. So it is 1:03 right now. I put the foundation on at like 9. So let's see. It was like, whoop. The foundation is holding up pretty well. As you can see, the coverage is really good. Color match could be better. That's on me. That's my fault. But the quality so far is really good. My face doesn't feel like it's suffocating. Also, my hands are really dark right now, especially my left one. Like, look at the difference between my left hand and my right hand. My arms and my hands are very dark because when I drive, they're in the sun. So don't mind them. I will get them back to being normal soon enough. Alright, so yeah, compared to the rest of me. Like, look at the difference between my chest and my hands, and then my face. All different colors. What was I saying? Oh yeah, foundation sticking really good. It's been what? Like, say 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1. So 3.5 hours. I do have tiny little like lines in my forehead, and it has settled into the lines a little bit, but honestly it's not even noticeable. Like, let me zoom you guys in so you can see my forehead. So hello, you can see all the texture on my face. There's a lot, but you see my forehead, you see these little tiny little lines all over the place. Yeah, there is some foundation settling in there, but it hasn't broken up around my nose yet, so that's good. So this is what it looks like so far. Okay, I'm gonna stop, but I'll check in with you guys in a few more hours. Oh, that's the wrong way. In a few more hours. Hey guys, don't mind my pile of clothes in the back. I still have to deal with that. I have no good excuse. It's 3:45 now, and I have had the foundation, concealer, and setting powder on since 9:30, and my face, in general, it looks okay. However, my nose has broken up quite a bit, but that's just because my nose is super oily, and I could have used like more mattifying primers on my nose, so I'm not gonna blame all of that on the foundation, because this always happens to my nose. If I don't take the proper precautions to mattify my nose as much as possible and like touch up by blotting more often, then that is my fault, because I know how my skin is. But everywhere else other than my nose is still sticking. It has not rubbed off. It is not cracking. It looks pretty good everywhere other than my nose. And like I told you guys earlier, I wasn't so happy with how my forehead looked, because everything did kind of sink into some of the lines on my forehead. But it's not a really big deal, because like to the naked eye, for most people, they won't be able to notice. The foundation, I'm really happy with it. I'm not going to complain about the foundation at all. I think the foundation is great. I should have just chose a better color for myself, because this does seem a little too light, especially if I just compare it to my chest. It's slightly too light for me, so I would have to go at least one shade darker. As for my hands, I'm going to start putting sunscreen on, and these are going to get a little bit lighter because it's not matching anything. My hands are so dark. I would like the skin on my one body to match itself as much as possible. The concealer, on the other hand, I do say that it covered really well. It has really great coverage. You don't need a lot of product. In fact, don't use a lot of product because it'll just go everywhere, and then you won't have anywhere to blend it. But it is really good. However, if you take a look at my under eyes, this side I just set normally. This side I actually baked with. Now the baking side looks worse than the side that I didn't bake on. You guys see, I always tell you guys that I have lines under my eyes, and some of you are like, no you don't. Yes I do. But this side, you can see concealer fell into my lines. It definitely creased up quite a bit. On this side you can see my lines, but it's not creased like the other side. And this is just with setting my under eye with the setting powder normally. This side was with baking, and so baking really didn't help. In fact, it's probably better not to bake with this powder. I'm not completely sure why, but that is what happened. Considering that each eye is different, the only difference that there was the way I set my under eyes. So had I just set it normally instead of baking it with the setting powder, it most likely would have turned out like this eye. So final thoughts, even though I have only had it on for 6 hours, I do have to wash off my face and everything really soon, because after Ernie gets home, I really don't have a chance to shower and clean up and everything. So I'm just going to do that early. Do really thin layers. There's a lot of coverage. Take small amounts. If you want to use it with the brush that Juvia's Place has come out with, that's a really good idea. However, you could probably try using a different brush too, but I would definitely suggest a brush for the foundation because it has much better coverage with a brush versus the beauty sponge. The beauty sponge didn't have as good coverage, which is surprising because I feel like makeup sponges always have the best coverage for myself. My camera likes to turn off at the most inopportune moments. I don't remember what I was saying, but I believe I was saying that the foundation works really well. Use it with a brush and don't apply too much of it. I think that is really, really good. Just try your best to pick out the right shade. If you don't want to order from Juvia's Place, you can always get it from Ulta. Go in store, find your shade. However, for the concealer, you have to order it online because Juvia's Place is not selling it at Ulta as of yet. They are selling it on their website. So you would have to go to their website and choose your concealer. If you follow Juvia's Place on Instagram, you can take a look at the chart that they posted. That will help you choose what concealer to pair with your foundation shade. And I think the concealer is really, really good too. You just have to get the right color and don't use too much of it. Same thing with the foundation. You guys, this is so important with this foundation concealer because a little bit goes a whole long way, and you do not want to overdo it. The first time I put this on, it oxidized, the color looked horrendous and it looked crazy, and then I put the concealer on and it made it look even worse. I had to wash off my whole face, wasted all of my skincare stuff that I put on this morning. It was like such a waste of time. But just use them in small doses. And for the setting powder, I'm not really blown away by the setting powder because I feel like there are a lot of other setting powders that work better. I like the Airspun powder better. And that costs less than their powder does. Their powder costs $12, and I can usually find my Airspun for $8.99. However, sometimes you get it for $11.99 somewhere, and so it basically equals out. I'm not a fan of the setting powder. I am still going to use it because I have it, but I don't like it as much as I do other setting powders, and I can get a better setting powder for a lower price point. Foundation, I love it. Concealer, I love it. Setting powder, take it or leave it. That's my opinion. That's the end. That's everything. This was a long video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below if you have not already. Let me know what you guys think of these concealer and foundation and setting powder, if you've tried it already. And that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Look at the difference. This is not right.